Hello everyone. In today's course, I will introduce the relationship between cloud computing and virtualization. And what's more, I will introduce DIN and KVM to you. KVM is very important, so you should double your efforts.
Let's take a look at the comparison between virtualization and cloud computing. Let's first look at virtualization. We talk about virtualization in order to improve hardware utilization. Virtualize a physical host into multiple logical hosts, then has its own operating system on each host, and then run different applications. In addition, since the virtual host is logically a file or folder, the strong coupling of hardware and software is mistyped, and by automatically migrating these files and folders, the reliability of the service running on the virtual machine can be improved. In cloud computing, we mainly use virtualization to simply implement IaaS cloud services. Cloud computing, however, is not just IaaS, but also PaaS and SaaS. IaaS and SaaS are implemented based on virtualization, and some can be implemented based on physical hardware plus its distributed computing. Let's talk about science fiction movies. Science fiction movie can use Huawei Cloud's rendering services. Cloud rendering is a collection of self-services such as ECS, object storage, and so on. Among them, ECS is realized by virtualization. But for large-scale science movie, the performance of ECS is unsatisfactory. So, at this time, it needs to use a bare metal server. The bare metal server is a real physical machine. It has nothing to do with virtualization. Without virtualization, we can also implement cloud computing, but with virtualization, we can better implement cloud computing. The main cloud computing virtualization is generally divided into two types. One is open source and the other is closed source. Open source include the KVM and DIN that we mentioned earlier. Closed source include Microsoft Hyper-V, VMware, Huawei's Fusion Sphere, and so on. Regarding open source and closed source, there is no one who is good or who is bad, only who is more appropriate. For example, open source technology is completely free and can be used at any time. Because its source code is public, users can customize some special applications according to their needs. The open source technology is very technical demanding for users. Because once this system fails, it does not depend on it. It can only rely on the administrator's own technology and experience to complete the repair of this system. However, the closed source technology, the user cannot see the source code and cannot be personalized. And closed source virtualization products are generally charged. Charges are not wide fee or for users. They implement out-of-the-box services. In the process of use, if there is any problem in the system, the manufacturer will support the whole process and repair it all the way. DIN and KVM in open source virtualization technology are equivalent. KVM is full virtualized and then supports both pseudo-virtualization and full virtualization. KVM is a module in the Linux kernel that is used to implement CPU and memory virtualization. It is a process of Linux and other I/O devices, such as network cards, disks, and so on. These need that QEMU to achieve. DIN is different from KVM in that it runs directly on the hardware and then runs the virtual machine on the top of it. Virtual machines in DIN fall into two categories. DOM0 and DOM-U. DOM0 is a privileged virtual machine with direct access to hardware and management tool. DOM0 need to be started in advance before the VM are started. DOM-U is a non-virtual machine and cannot directly access hardware resources. All operations need to be transferred to DOM0, and the specific operation is complete by DOM0, and the result is returned to DOM-U.
Okay, everyone, until now, we have known that the mainstream compute virtualization technologies are DIN and KVM. And I have mentioned before, KVM is very important. So, in next subsection, we will focus on what is KVM. See you in next course. Bye.